The storefronts are the first cue for me that I'm in the city. At the most fundamental level, they communicate what a business is, does, or sells to everyone who passes. They're also in constant competition with one another, though you'd never guess if you walk down a street like Canal and see electronics stores that are somehow still in business next to bagel places and some niche clothing boutique, a coffee place that shares a wall with a hostel whose neighbor is an old family-run shop that appears to only sell light fixtures. But the crazy thing is, I remember the place that only sells light fixtures even though I'm very much not in the market for a chandelier. Those signs and displays and awnings and paint color choices are the first impression that they get with everyone who passes by, and it's a powerful form of physical, tangible marketing in a profoundly digital world. It's a piece of each business's identity in a city where it's all but impossible to stand out. It's something I really love about New York, paradoxically making up the background of every single part of it, but also catching your attention as you walk by. So I decided to spend the day documenting them. Some because they're beautiful, some because they're eye-catching or weird or out there, and some just because they're personally significant to me or in a neighborhood I find myself in frequently, but all of them because they're one element of the city that I've always loved. I remember that morning I went out to catch the sunrise and get the soft morning light. A rare day in New York where the weather happened to be perfect. It wasn't raining, the sun was out, it was warm, not too windy, and I was strolling through the West Village in Greenwich around 7:38 in the morning. And then I went into a bookshop later that afternoon after I'd been shooting all morning, and I saw a photo book about New York storefronts. It wasn't my first interaction with that particular book, but I suddenly remembered seeing it before and flipping through it. Definitely wasn't consciously the inspiration for this project or this video, but it made me ask myself a few questions. I already know I'm far from the first person to photograph these businesses, these storefronts. I'm definitely not the first photographer who's had this idea or been inspired by this one element of the city. But why did I come all the way down here with two different cameras at 7 a.m. for the early morning light when this has all been done before? And the toughest question of all is attaching my personal style enough to differentiate my work from what's been done before me. And I'm not talking about plagiarism here, but originality. Plagiarism is indefensible no matter how you try to justify it, but originality or lack thereof is something that is more likely to affect us as artists internally. The feeling, or maybe the fear, that you have nothing of your own to add to the conversation or to the art world is disheartening. When you get out of the very beginning stages of an art form and start to develop your own style and vision, this can plague us endlessly. I've struggled with it myself throughout my life, not just during this project. But you can draw inspiration from art that exists, and you will, no matter what. Just because something has been done before doesn't mean that you can't do it too. If you travel all the way to France, you have every right to take a photo of the Eiffel Tower. If you come to New York, you have every right to take a photo of the Flatiron Building or the Empire State. You might not be breaking new ground or changing the world, but that doesn't mean that you just don't do it at all. There's no rule that says that you can't if something has been done before. It doesn't matter how many times. There are a lot of ways to look at it. You can try to find a way to do it that's new through your own voice or style or different lens or format or whatever than what's been done before. But you're also allowed to just take the same touristy photo of the Eiffel Tower or whatever because it brought you joy to do so. Because you probably saved up for the plane tickets and trekked all the way across the world to a different country, and that little bit of joy from finally getting to witness that view firsthand that you might have only seen in books or TV shows is enough to validate your work. I realized that I would have missed this great morning outside documenting something that I really love about a city that I really love if I'd been too caught up with the idea that everything I do has to be completely unique, that it's somehow bad or wrong to repeat an idea that's already been done. You should absolutely push the boundaries and find yourself and your voice through your work, but that can take a really long time to do, and you're only going to get there by creating a lot of artwork. I'm certainly not at the finish line yet, and I think part of me hopes that I never will be. I mean, what is there really left to do when you run out of things to experiment with? Look at your creativity like a switchboard or a mixing panel. Everything you've ever liked or disliked has flipped a switch or turned a knob on this enormous circuit board that is your brain. At a much, much, much deeper level than my Storefronts of New York project, what you produce will demonstrate your specific artistic, stylistic configuration, so to speak. How are you going to assert to yourself that art is only valid if it's completely unique when your entire worldview and frame of reference for what you create and why has been influenced from the very moment you were born by other artists? No art is 100% original at this point, but it's your vision that can be special if you're intentional about how and what and why you create. You're an amalgamation of all the things you've experienced, and we all need to embrace that. To myself, and to all of you, pursue originality and try to find your own voice, but don't let your fear of failing to create something totally new stop you from enjoying the whole journey from start to finish. All art has value, and all of the stops along the way to wherever you're going can be beautiful.